Hi, everybody. I'm Tovi Spiro, Education Director at AWFS. I'm really pleased to present to you today Dr. Chris Kuehl, an economist, PhD. He's been working with professional associations like our own for over 20 years. And we always really appreciate him making the time to come on and give us an update about what's been happening in the last quarter, not just the big perspective, but also touching on our industry. So I don't want to take too much away, but thanks, Chris. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So here we are. And we're about a quarter of the way through the year, and already everything has changed, or at least is changing. So there's going to be a certain amount of review where we think we have been, but that's always embarrassing. That's why I always start off with an attempt to disparage my entire profession. An economist is an expert who will know tomorrow why what they predicted yesterday didn't happen today. We have been eternally grateful for the existence of meteorologists because they make us look good. And we have the same excuse they have. Every time they blow a forecast, it's like, well, we got more data. The European models came in or whatever, so we kind of have the same excuses. So talk a little bit about some of the bigger changes and then get into some of the more maybe remote. I mean, it's not that they're out of the realm of possibility. They need to be considered, but the media has a tendency to blow some of these things a little out of proportion. I mean, just as an example, and kind of getting on the way because it's relatively current all kinds of hue and cry over the Baltimore situation. You know, a cargo ship smacks into a bridge, and and all of a sudden, the White House is like it's going to upset shipping for months. Well, actually, it won't. There are a lot of ports on the East Coast. And there are lots of other places for ships to go. There's Charleston, there's Savannah, there's New York, there's Boston, there's lots of alternatives to Baltimore. The most significant disruption is probably going to be in automotive because one of the things that Baltimore is very well equipped to do is to handle imported cars. It takes a certain amount of specialized equipment to do that, and there aren't as many places in the country that can handle that kind of volume. But for the rest of it, just rerouting. I mean, it's basically going to other ports. And they weren't necessarily prepared for the amount of congestion that they will now see. But remember that the Gulf Coast ports and the East Coast ports have been somewhat down for the last year because of the Panama Canal drought. So there has been a reduction in freight moving into the eastern Gulf Coast because the Panama Canal has been down from 35 ships a day to around 18 or 19. So these ports were a little under capacity anyway. And this extra work from Baltimore is not going to be as disruptive as it might have been if there were more shipments coming through the Panama Canal. The canal is still the biggest bottleneck. The situation in Baltimore is highly isolated. The Panama Canal mess is affecting everything. The Gulf, East Coast, putting a lot of congestion on the West Coast. So anyway, I just bring that up because it tends to be, well, we know the old mantra with the media, if it bleeds, it leads. It's very dramatic and it's getting a lot of attention until the next news cycle starts. But from a strictly business and transportation perspective, probably not as big a deal as it tends to be made. So if you look at this first slide, this is proof positive that we don't have any idea what we're doing. If you had looked at this in early 2023, you would have seen the consensus view of economists pointing towards recession in the first quarter. Well, we got moderate growth. Well, surely we're going to get recession in the second quarter. Nope, we grew at 2.4. Well, then it's got to happen in the third quarter. Nope, we grew at 5.2. We haven't grown at 5.2 for almost a decade. Well, fourth quarter, are we gonna, no, we grew at 2.5. Then it was like, well, okay, first quarter of this year. No, we're growing at about 2.3, probably 2.5, which casts doubt on all of those anemic forecasts for quarter two, quarter three, quarter four. There are four things that have been driving the economy for the last couple of years, and only one of those is backing down at all. Number one driver has been the consumer, which we'll talk about more in a minute, and continues to baffle all predictions. I mean, consumers are in debt up to their eyebrows, but it isn't slowing them down. I mean, they're continuing to spend. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Number two driver, government money. The pandemic money is gone. That expired a couple of years back. Then we had all the infrastructure money coming in, stuff from the CHIPS Act and the what was it, Inflation Reduction Act, which had nothing to do with inflation or reduction, but was an infrastructure bill. And there have been four or five others that have been pumping money into the economy. That started to appear in earnest last year and is accelerating now. Third driver has been, surprisingly enough, non-residential construction. And I'll show you a chart on that here in a moment. It is still growing at almost exponential rates. If you listen to, again, kind of the fast and dirty interpretation of construction, well, no one's building office buildings anymore and retail is down. True. Office buildings have not recovered from the pandemic, people working remotely, et cetera. But if you look at what's happening in transportation, logistics, break bulk facilities, all of that, they're booming like never before, partly because we've seen that shift away from traditional retail to the online version. So that's still booming. The only thing that has slowed down from what it was last year is inventory build. And we'll talk more about that too. For a while, companies were building inventory because they didn't trust the supply chain and they took on more than they normally would. Well, that response is kind of over. Note there at the bottom is that the consumer spending has really been driven by the stock market. 900 billion in new stock wealth created, which tends to create something like 300 billion in additional spending. You add the multiplier to that, and it's 1.3 trillion. Consumer spending is 76% of GDP. So if the consumer is spending, and if you looked at the headlines today, the markets are surging again. I mean, it's investment in AI, it's investment in tech. True, it's being driven by a very small segment of the market, but it's still being driven. So here we go, some of the key issues for this coming year. And a lot of conversation all of a sudden around interest rates. There was an assumption at the beginning of the year, at least by the market, that rates were going to come down quick, that you were going to see them start to reduce in the second quarter. Now, the Fed never said that. So the market was really probably trying to pressure the Fed to do something with interest rates. The Fed ignored them, as they often do, and said, nope, we are still thinking towards the end of the year. The consensus view for quite a while was that the rates would start to come down third quarter, probably late third quarter, maybe fourth, and then it would come down by maybe 3/4 point cuts before the end of the year, which would take the rates from 5.5 to 4.75. But just today, a remark out of one of the Fed governors, Chris, and I'm blanking on his last name now. He was the former head of research for the St. Louis Fed. He was working for years, Chris Waller, working under Jim Bullard at the St. Louis Fed. He really is the dominant economist on the Fed board right now. The media will tend to get, as it does, preoccupied with who has formal titles. And they look at Jerome Powell, and Jerome Powell says this, and Jerome Powell says that. Powell is not an economist. He doesn't pretend to be an economist. He was brought into the Fed originally as the regulatory guy. And the role that he plays now is basically just kind of master of ceremonies. I mean, he oversees the meetings, he's the official spokesman, but the actual kind of in the trenches economic work is done by other members of the Board of Governors who are indeed either bankers or economists. Chris Waller is an economist and a well-known one at that. He has today stated, he said, we're in no hurry. There's no pressure at rates right now. There's no pressure at all. I mean, if you look at what motivates central banks, the mantra has always been that we hike rates in order to break something. We are trying to break inflation. So we hike rates until we break something. Then we lower rates to fix what it was we broke. And one of the ways that they determine that they have broken inflation is unemployment. So have the unemployment numbers increased? Has growth slowed? Has inflation come down? So they look at those things, and right now they're saying inflation has come down a little, but it's bouncing back up now. It is back up to about 2.5. It was at 2.3. So it's not a big jump, but it's like, well, inflation has obviously not gone away. So we still have an excuse to keep rates high. We know that what's driving inflation right now is not what drove it a year or so ago. When it's driving it before, it was commodities prices, energy prices, those have all come down. But what hasn't come down is wages, which we'll get to in a minute. So you're getting comments from Waller saying, don't assume that we're going to lower rates, because if unemployment is still low and we're still growing and we're still dealing with inflation, why would we lower rates? We still have room to hold them. We may extend these rates into 2025, maybe the middle of 2025. We're going to have to wait until we actually see an impact. So everyone is assuming that we're going to get these rate cuts, and that may not be an accurate assumption. Economists have been pushing back on this now for several weeks. There's heard us saying, look, there's no urgency. There's no obvious impact on the economy that we need to respond to now. So I mentioned that wages were the big driver for inflation. That's worker shortage. We've been talking about this for decades. It drives me absolutely up a tree that the powers that be seem to be unable to count to 65. I mean, the moment Junior was born, you knew when Junior was going to reach retirement age. It's not high math. It's add 65. You even knew the day that Junior was going to be eligible for retirement. So here we come to the end of this decade, 2030. By that day, we will see the retirement arrive for every single boomer. Now, we won't all retire. We're notorious. We're boomers. We never retire. We just keep working until we can't. So people work through their 60s and they work through their 70s, but eventually they get into their 80s and suddenly it's like, I want to enjoy my golden weeks. I think I will actually retire. We're not prepared for it. We don't have people coming in to replace them. And your industry is particularly sensitive because it's difficult to find people who are qualified to work in your sector. We don't train for it. We don't have schools for it. Almost everybody is trained on the job. I just got through speaking to a conference in Charleston, South Carolina, the woodworkers, and basically the sawmill people, and they're like, we're in rural areas. Where are we going to find people? Our workforce is old and getting older. Well, that creates wage-driven inflation, and that's one of the things that's worrying the Fed. We're in an election year. Oh boy, the single biggest driver for buying a DVR so you can get away from the commercials. Not much is going to change at the presidential level. To be honest, presidents don't have a lot of impact on the economy directly. They're advisory more than anything else. They have what Roosevelt called the bully pulpit. They can talk about it a lot. They can rally people to one direction or the other, but ultimately the decisions will end up in the hands of Congress when it comes to fiscal policy and the Fed when it comes to monetary policy. Where you would possibly see some shifts, if Congress becomes unified around the GOP, you'll see a lot less interest in alternative energy, a lot more interest in traditional infrastructure. Neither party is talking about anything that would significantly change debt or deficit. I mean, they've both gotten really, really good at kicking that issue down the can. So, we're not expecting drama when it comes to changing policy. Now, if you get a change at the presidential level, it will certainly have an impact on the executive and the regulatory environment. But even that is slow. I mean, the people who are in charge of the bureaucracy don't move swiftly, even when there's a change at the top. And for those of you who have long memories, there was a television show that was on public broadcasting for years from Britain called Yes Minister. Look that up sometime on YouTube if you want to understand the power of the bureaucracy, because the whole premise of this is that you had a minister, a British minister, in charge, theoretically, of this department, but in reality, it was his ranking civil servant that ran rings around this poor, daft minister. So whatever the minister would come bouncing and saying, well, we should do this, we should do this. And yes, minister, that's not how we do things. Please sit down and shut up. I mean, it's hysterical. I mean, but it also points out how durable bureaucracies are. You know, they don't change very fast. Trade relations will be a big deal as well because we're in the process of shifting our emphasis. We have always been, at least for the last 30, 40 years, very consumer centric when it comes to trade. We wanted to make sure that the U.S. consumer had access to whatever product was produced around the world at a good price. So we were a very aggressive free trade country. Everything in the world that wants to come here, by all means, let it come in because it's good for the consumer. That came at a cost. It came at a cost of our productive capabilities. We lost a lot of manufacturing. We lost at some point in the 90s, some 20 million jobs in manufacturing because companies went overseas. They sourced overseas, they bought overseas, they set up operations overseas. It affected this industry as well. Now you're getting a reaction saying, wait a minute, we've lost too much. We've lost too much of our industrial capabilities. We began to see that really play out during the pandemic because we need masks. Oh, well, we don't make those anymore. Those are from China. Well, we need stuff for the hospital. We don't make those either. Hospital stuff buys it from overseas. But we need chips. We got to have chip. Well, we don't make those either. They come from Taiwan or from Korea. So all of a sudden, we started saying, hey, maybe we should start making more of this stuff ourselves. That will come at a cost too, because if you shift away from the consumer and make stuff more accessible for domestic producers, the prices go up. So if you looked at all of the proposals right now for tariffs and restrictions, and most of them won't pass. I mean, this is kind of election year bombast, but if they all did by some miracle, it would mean that the average consumer would pay $10,000 to $15,000 more this year for what they bought last year. So it means a big, big increase in consumer spending. That's inflationary. So another thing that's occurring to the Fed is that, look, if we do start favoring U.S. production, which is a good thing, it's good for jobs, good for the GDP, not arguing against it, but it's like, just be aware that the days of going to Walmart and buying 300 tube socks for $1 are over. I mean, we can't produce it that cheap. I mean, I was talking to an Uber driver one day from Burma, and I said, so what's the hourly rate in Burma? And he said, we don't have an hourly rate. We have a day rate. Day rate in Burma is $1.50. So how do you compete with a country that can employ somebody for $1.50 a day? You can't. I mean, so anything that Burma would have sent us, well, it would have been very cheap. And if we look at ourselves, not so cheap. So one of the ways I like to just remind people of how big this country really is to point out that every single state has the GDP equal to that of a country. I mean, Texas has the same GDP as Canada. California has the same GDP as Britain. Britain is the sixth largest economy in the world. So California by itself is the sixth largest economy in the world. So that affects us statistically. If California is having a good year, it looks like the whole country is. If California is having a bad year, it looks like the whole country is because they play such a dominant role in our total GDP. But every single country has a state correspondent of some sort, and it gives you a sense of just how big we are. If you look at Canada, for example, a lot of interest in the Canadian economy on the part of this industry too, really dominated by two provinces, Ontario and Quebec. British Columbia plays a little bit of a role, but Alberta is only there because of oil. As far as the population is concerned, it's Quebec and Ontario. You've seen a bit of a declining economic growth rate in Canada. It's not in recession, but it's a lot closer than we are. We're sitting at about 2.3, 2.5. They were at that level at the beginning of last year and have been sinking ever since, predominantly because of the shift in commodity pricing. If you look globally beyond just our North America, Japan is surprisingly enough growing at a much faster rate than it has in years. India is still growing. We're still growing. Most of Europe is more in decline, and China is sinking. China's got some real issues, and that's going to start playing into the U.S. economy in some pretty interesting ways. And again, not to beat this to death, but China has not seen foreign direct investment this low since the early 90s. I mean, they're 20 years back. A lot of problems. Property market has collapsed. The stock market has collapsed. China is beginning to pay the price for that one-child policy. They have worker shortage. They have an aging population. More and more conflicts with the U.S. and Europe over trade. All of it is combining to really slow Chinese growth. But at the same time, China is experiencing this decline in growth. They are still trying to maintain employment levels, and they're doing it by essentially subsidizing industries all over China and all over the regions in particular. There really is no true demand for steel in China right now. Growth is way, way down in construction. There's a crisis that has gripped the entire property market. There is not a lot of demand for steel. But China has 400 steel mills, and all of them are still running flat out because that means jobs, and the Chinese government doesn't want those people out of work. So the end result is overproduction of unwanted steel. So what do you do when you overproduce something that you can't use? You dump it on the world market. And China is going to be dumping a lot of stuff on the world market because they're overproducing all the way across the board. China is fighting deflation. We're fighting inflation. Their prices have been collapsing. So all of this movement that we've seen the last few years about reshoring and bringing production back to the U.S., that will slow because people are going to look at the prices coming out of China and say, well, yeah, I'm still worried about the supply chain. I'm still worried about these trade issues, but my goodness, have you seen what the prices are coming out of China right now? I can't not take advantage of this. I'm going to start buying some of that surplus. So suddenly China is looming as a real threat, and proving actual dumping is really, really hard. The definition of dumping is that you are selling something for less than it cost you to produce it. And it's very hard to prove that that's the case. And when you're looking at a country like China, they're not selling it at less than it costs to produce it. They can just produce it a lot cheaper than we can because they don't have as many regulations. They have much lower paid workers. There's lots of reasons that they can produce at a much lower cost than ours and still make money in China. It's not technically dumping. So that's going to be a whole nother set of conversations. Some of the direct investment that isn't going into China is going into Mexico. Actually, a lot of it is. Mexico has not seen this much FDI in years, and it's continuing to accelerate. It really took off in 21 and is still growing and is continuing to play a major role in the development of the Mexican economy. We now import more from Mexico than we do from China, and it's not just the usual stuff. I mean, we've always imported oil and food and other commodities. Now it's consumer goods. Mexicans can make consumer goods just like everybody else can. They just couldn't compete with Chinese low prices. Now they can. Transportation costs are much lower. Production costs are on a par with China. And we'll talk more about why that's the case later. And Mexico is going to be going through an historical moment here in a couple of months. One of these two women will become president of Mexico, first woman to be president of Mexico. The woman on the right is Claudia Sheinbaum. She would be the first female president of Mexico and the first Jewish president of Mexico. She's a member of the ruling party, Morena Party, has been mayor of Mexico City, and is similar in some respects to her predecessor, Andres Manuel López Obrador, but she's more of a technocrat. She was trained as a scientist, a little bit more business oriented, certainly more economic development oriented. And she currently has the lead, something like 60% of the poll. Woman on the left is Xochitl Galvez. She represents the PAN party. PAN is very powerful in the north. It's the party that brought us Vicente Fox and Felipe Calderon a few years back. They have not held the presidency for over a decade, but their limitation was always that they were popular in the north and the industrial part of Mexico, but nowhere else until now. So Galvez's father is indigenous Mexican Indian. So the southern population, which is more predominantly indigenous, sees her as one of them. So Han now has support in the South and the North, and she's sitting at about 51, 52% of the vote. So not that close, but within striking distance. But either way, Mexico makes history. They're either going to get their first female Jewish president or their first female indigenous president in a few months. We are seeing a lot of population shift in the United States, and this is not unexpected. These are people who are fleeing high cost of living states for lower cost of living states. Always took place, always been a phenomenon, but easier now because people can work remotely. I mean, you can see the population growth in places like Arizona, Nevada, and Utah. Many of those people are moving from California and you're basically saying, look, I don't want to go too far because my actual job is out of California. I mean, there's two or three airlines I noticed when I was last in Phoenix that just run shuttles back and forth between Phoenix and LA. There are people who work for California companies but only need to be in the office maybe one day a week, maybe once every other week. So they just commute. They live in Phoenix, they live in Tucson, they live in Nevada, they live in Utah, and they just shoot back to California when they need to. Meanwhile, they're getting lower cost of living. You're seeing the same thing in the Northwest, people moving into Boise, moving away from Seattle and Portland. You see a huge amount of growth in the Southeast, particularly North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Florida too. But the problem with Florida is these are all old. So, they're not really producing anything. It's the consumption capital of the United States. Everything comes in, nothing comes out. It's a transportation black hole. But it's growing too. People from the Northeast and from the Great Lakes avoiding winter. The other migration is away from urban areas. So people are moving increasingly outward, suburbs, exurbs. I mean, look at Dallas. Dallas center is losing population. Meanwhile, the suburbs of Dallas have turned Oklahoma into a suburb. So it's a pretty significant migration, has a lot to do with where business is likely to develop. It's also going to be driving a certain amount of logistical conversations along the way. A lot of differentiation as far as what people think is going to happen in the rest of the year. Consumers are pretty upbeat. 70% thinks it's going to get better. Goldman Sachs is, as always, the most depressed organization on the planet. I don't know where they find their people, but they're always like, the world is coming to an end tomorrow. And it's not tomorrow, the day after. And then it'll just end forever. We're all going to die. It's like, okay, fine. Somebody has to be dismal. But look at the CEOs. They are almost universally of the opinion this is going to be a good year. And part of that is C-level hubris. I mean, people are in the business of on pumping up their own company. But the other significant thing there is the yield curve. You have probably heard at least a million times that the yield curve predicts recessions. No, it doesn't. Not anymore. The yield curve has been inverted now for 436 straight days. So it's been inverted for well over a year. So if it's predicting a recession, it's kind of like if somebody comes up and says, well, you're going to die. Yes, this is true. We are all going to die. That's kind of a given. But if it's tomorrow or 30 years from now, big change in my plans, big change in my expectations. So the yield curve isn't indicating anything anymore. The inversion between short-term and long-term bonds is kind of being driven by its own little rules. It doesn't have much to do with the economy. Economists are kind of split. About half of them think they're going to do fine. Another half think no, things aren't going to get very good. So if you're seeking consensus on where 24 is going to go, good luck. There really isn't much. We're in the middle of what's known as a K-shaped recovery, and this is one of the things that has made these predictions tough. The upper leg of the K, the upper income households, they haven't felt the downturn at all. They're still spending like there's no tomorrow. There's a 4-year wait for a yacht in the US right now. No matter who's producing it, they're all behind. And they're traveling and they're spending and they're driving the economy, and on their own, they're producing a lot of the GDP. The lower third is in exactly the opposite place. 85% of them are living paycheck to paycheck. They're getting eaten alive by inflation. The ones in the middle, they're hanging on based on the security of their job. As long as they have job security, as long as they think they can get another job if they lose their current one, they continue to spend. About half of them are living paycheck to paycheck, but that's okay as long as they think that paycheck is reliable. One of the groups that we work with is car dealers. We work with a company that counsels car dealers, and I've had lots of meetings with these dealership people. And one of the questions I ask is, okay, the average price of a car now is $46,000, which is $10,000 more than it was in 2020. Are you seeing a reduction in sales? And almost universally, they said, nope, nope, consumers aren't paying attention to it at all. The only thing they care about is the monthly payment. But they do not care what the total price of the car is. It doesn't matter. It's the monthly payment. One guy said, I just gave my first 11-year loan on a car, a mortgage length loan on a car. Guy came into the dealership, wanted this very expensive Mercedes, and said, I can't pay more than $300 a month. So I got a loan for him that's under $300 a month. And he walks away with his Mercedes. I mean, really? But that's the Lancha. It's like if I can afford it, if I can afford my credit card, monthly payment, whatever it is, I can just keep on going. But that is so contingent on jobs. If there's any interruption in that job confidence, that segment gets in trouble in a hurry. Speaking of debt, the only place where we're seeing really debt issues are credit cards, and they're a little down from what they were even in 2011. But you can see that credit card delinquencies are accelerating. Not much movement in auto loans, not much movement in mortgages. Those are staying pretty standard. Student loan, well, with all the forgiveness out there, it is becoming less of an issue. The issue with student loans is highly political now, more than economic. So the big concern at this stage is credit cards. When will it begin to expand? The average consumer has, I mean, collectively, we have $7 trillion in credit card debt, $20 trillion in overall debt. This one slide is probably the most cogent argument against an imminent recession. This is corporate capital spending, still at record levels. I mean, record levels, going back to the 80s and 90s. Still close to 75 billion. It's flattened out a little bit, still growing 1.6% a year. This has been driven predominantly by technology. Worker shortage is a real thing, and it has been for a decade. Companies don't have a lot of options. The options have been to turn to technology, as has been the case with your industry. Every one of the shows that I've been to, it's just like it's tech, tech, tech. Stuff being developed to be done by machines, use of AI, use of anything to reduce the dependence on workers you can't find. So the capital spending has been driven by this desire to compensate for the lack of a workforce. And that's not likely to stop anytime soon. There's no magic solution to a workforce shortage. We should have been thinking about this 20, 30 years ago. And it's now getting into areas that it didn't used to. I mean, we were used to it in manufacturing, we were used to it in construction, even transportation. Now it's getting into the consumer service sector. I'm running into more and more cases where retail outlets can't find people to work, so it's all self-serve, which, you know, solves the problem of worker shortage, but it also sort of encourages theft. It amazes me that these retail outlets never occurred to them that, you know, an unscrupulous person's going to come through and scan a stick of gum and walk out with a big screen TV. I mean, it's like, I'm not sure why that logic never went through. We have seen a bit more supply chain pressure, as I mentioned at the outset. It's not really going to get worse because of the Baltimore mess, but we still have the drought in the Panama Canal. Don't know when that's going to break. We need rain. And then there's the Red Sea mess. Now, the Red Sea mess is still as front and center as it always has been. The Houthi are still attacking, still threatening. The issue is not that ships think they're going to get attacked. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of ships would go through every day. They can't get insurance. The insurance companies are like, no, with the potential for you to be boarded or shot, we're not going to cover you. And that immediately causes a reroute. Doesn't affect us that much, us being the US. It affects Europe more. This is the route from Asia to Europe, but it has had an impact on commodity prices. It's been a factor in some of the increase in oil per barrel prices. It's been a factor in some of the other commodities that move globally and come through that route. But there are other supply chain issues. We've seen port congestion because of the Panama Canal drought. We've also just seen ports that are in need of retrofitting. I mean, they just haven't been addressed and they're getting less and less competitive. If you look at manufacturing as a whole, looking at it from a global perspective, the Purchasing Managers Index is a really good tool. As a rule, the most current data is generally an index, but indexes are often flawed. They're either asking people questions that these people have no background to answer, or they're asking people questions and then they get fudgy answers. You get people who are trying to manipulate the data, and that's not nice. Purchasing Managers Index is remarkably accurate because you're asking a purchasing manager a very simple question. Are you buying more, buying less, or buying the same? They don't have to divulge anything beyond that. And because they're a purchasing manager, they don't know enough to lie. So you ask them, are you buying more or less lumber? More. How come? I don't know. I don't even know what we make. I'm the purchasing manager. They also told me we're out of toilet paper. I just buy what they tell me to buy. I don't know why I buy it. I don't care why I buy it. I'm not going to question my CFO and say, sir, why are we buying this? Because he's going to turn to me and say, Binkley, shut up and do your job. So it's 100% accurate. Just buying or not buying. If they're buying, they're anticipating growth. If they're not buying, they're not anticipating growth. We were in the 40s about a month or so ago. Anything over 50 is considered expansion. Anything under 50 is contraction. 2 months ago, there were 23 countries that were in contraction. Now there are 12, and most of them are in Europe. So Asia is coming back, not universally, but fairly consistently. We're back into the 50s. India is still booming. Mexico is still booming. So manufacturing generally has kind of been making a bit of a comeback globally. Oil and gasoline, I mentioned this earlier and said we were going to expand on it, and the expansion is kind of captured in that last line. Oil prices hovering in the $70 range in perpetuity. That's from the oil sector itself. And what this is based on is the way that we produce oil. We used to have to do it the old traditional way. If you were going to shut down operations because the demand was off, it would take you about a year. And then if you were to bring it back into production, it would take you another year. So you had to make these 12 to 24 months in advance decisions about what you were going to do when it comes to production. Now we're in what's referred to as a dynamic production mode, where you can literally react to the spot price, because with fracking and the modernization of the current wells, you can kind of turn them on and off like a switch. And I spend a good deal of time up in North Dakota. I'm the economist for the North Dakota Society of CPAs. And by the way, they like to meet in January in Fargo. Ugh. But anyway, you talk to the oil guys up there and they said, look, we just pay attention to the per barrel prices. It's like, hey, Vern, per barrel prices went up, fire up. A couple days later, hey, Vern, per barrel prices went down, shut her down. I mean, you can open up and shut down a fracking operation in about a day. So it can be very, very reactive. And that's keeping production and consumption close. Our consumption in the US is down from peaks of a few years back. It's around 20 million barrels a day. We're at this point producing somewhere around 15 million barrels a day. So we're almost independent just by ourselves. That which we don't produce ourselves, we get from Canada. So we're North American independent. Remember when politicians would be wringing their hands saying, we've got to be oil independent? We are and have been for years. And it kind of makes us immune to what's happening in the Middle East for a change. The only time we buy from those countries now is when it's on sale, basically, when the prices are cheap. Some of the East Coast refineries will buy their oil because it's cheaper than getting it from the middle of the US. But where that translates into important numbers, we're talking diesel prices under $4. We're talking gas prices in the low threes. We're talking crude in the 70s. Now, lately, you've seen some of the prices come up. The oil prices at the per barrel level are in the low 80s now. You've seen a little bit of a rise at the pump. Almost all of this is down to refineries. The U.S. has 126 functioning refineries. The majority of them were built prior to the 1970s. We have seen one new refinery built, and that was in 2022 in Louisiana. And it took 10 years to get that project completed. There are so many regulations and so many rules around this that it has really slowed that kind of development. And then you have the whole conversation about EVs, and that's a whole nother discussion, because the driver for EVs was always thought to be high gas prices, that people would convert to driving electric because the prediction was that the gas price at the pump was going to be $5, $6, $7, $8 a gallon. Well, now it's like, no, it's probably going to stay in the threes. And the demand last year, the EV market accounted for about 12% of new sales, where fossil fuel cars accounted for 83. So the EV issue now has become a lot more complicated. It's a lot more political. There's even, Europe is going through the same thing. There's this kind of challenge. It's like we want to push people to drive electric cars for whatever climate change reasons, but we also want to protect domestic industry. Yeah, the problem is the cheapest electric cars are coming out of China and coming out of South Korea. So if you want people to drive EVs and you want to push them that way, well, that means letting in a lot of these imported EVs, which is going to compromise the domestic producers. If you protect the domestic producers, well, if you're trying to drive the average person into an electric car, they're probably not Tesla candidates. And so you got some people who are saying, yeah, boy, that EV, that sounds great, but I'm going to get me a used Ford and I'll be just fine. Thank you. So a lot of challenges trying to figure out which is the highest priority. Like I said, production is increasing sharply and it has been since 2000. We still have a pretty low level of strategic petroleum reserve, but probably will start adding to that this year. The last few slides, and then I promise to shut up. This is from Armada's work. We do a thing called the watch, trends at 96% accuracy. I told you that economists weren't very accurate. That's the other economists, not us, worried about 96% accuracy month after month. I would like to take more credit for this, but the guy that built our models, our partner in all this, is a retired lieutenant colonel who used to be in the artillery, and he pointed out that in his previous job, accuracy was really, really, really important. And he developed a very complicated system to track his shells, which he now uses to track the economy. So the observations going forward, every single sector we're looking at is growing, some faster than others. A lot of growth in computers, what a shock. Freight tonnage is up. Retail growth expected to be at or above 5%. So you look at some of the breakdown, look at retail. I mean, even with a little bit of a slide expected towards the end of this year, it is so far above the 20-year trend line and has just accelerated. It's been going up since the end of the big recession in 2008. You look at automotive, same thing. It's trending down a little. Mostly it's just going flat, but still sitting above trend line. And when you look at these charts, you see the dotted lines at the top and the bottom. These are sort of the bounds. It's kind of like the hurricane forecast where you think the hurricane's going to hit here, but it could go there, it could go there. Those are different scenarios that we play out with those variables to say if these negative scenarios play out, this is where the curve could go. But if the positive scenarios play out, that's where the curve could go. And we're in a position to be able to look at the variables and say, look, this is the one you're looking for. If you're looking to see a change in what goes on in automotive, key variables are going to be support for EVs. It's going to be gas pricing. It's going to be employment. The average age of a vehicle in the United States now is 12.5 years. So people want to replace them, theoretically, if they keep their job. Aerospace, a little bit less active. Aerospace is having all kinds of issues these days. And the latest joke running around is that the TSA has now relaxed their restrictions and you can bring a toolkit on board the plane. And the little yellow cups that come out of the ceiling will have a wrench attached in case you need to reattach a bolt here and there. So I know that's not nice for Boeing, but hey, I fly a lot, so I think about these. Broad manufacturing, still growing, kind of coming close to that trend line, but then bouncing back up again. If you look at durable goods orders, defense is still very strong, computers very strong, electrical equipment very strong, other sectors down a little, but not dramatically. If you look at machinery production, and this is something that would be more germane to your industry because it's the stuff you buy. Um, Again, trending pretty strong and coming back from a deterioration. Now, manufacturing and machinery is always very volatile. You always get this up and down because once you buy a machine, it's not like you're going to buy it again in 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 years. I mean, these things last for a long time. And so you'll get a burst of buying when technology changes or if there's just a lot of money to spend for one particular year, then it drops off. Then it comes back later when conditions change. Non-residential construction, I mentioned that a while back as a driver for the economy, and this is why. Look at that growth. I mean, that's exponential. I mean, the amount of activity in warehousing, logistics, and transportation is staggering. And there's no end in sight. I mean, it's the way people shop now. Again, stupid anecdotal thing. I live in Kansas City, and there's a warehouse that went up about a year or so ago. Huge thing, massive thing. I mean, probably half a mile long. And I kept wondering, whose is that? Is it Amazon? Is it Walmart? Is it some Urban Outfitters? a weird little company that sells weird clothes to weird people, and they have this massive warehouse. Surely there are not that many people wearing Urban Outfitters clothes. Apparently, I'm wrong. This thing is huge. And you're seeing these things pop up all over the country. Housing has begun to recover. You know, you're getting a lot of people. I mean, it never did fall below trend line, and now is beginning to recover somewhat because people have seen that rents have gone up, and that's pushing them to get a home rather than pay rent. So with that, I'm going to shut up. There may be some questions, and I want to leave time for those. This one graph explains everything. All you have to do is master this, and you've got it all under control. For those who get just enamored of this and want more, we do a lot of writing. We are just as long-winded in print as we are in public. The flagship comes out 3 times a week and sells for the same as a Starbucks caramel macchiato per month. And the watch, which is all those graphs I just showed you, we've got a trial to that too. And it's $44, so it's relatively low price as well. If you're interested in any of that, just send me an email and I'll be more than happy to put you on the list for the free trial. And if you want a copy of these slides for whatever reason, again, just send me an email and I will also make sure that AWFS has a copy so you can get it from them directly as well. So I don't know how we handle questions. I'm assuming that they're going to show up in the chat or something, but I'll leave that to Toby.
Yeah, hi everybody. Again, if you do have questions that you'd like to ask, you can put them in the Q&A. And if we, miss any questions, if there's something that you think of later, you can always relay it to me or Chris
Yep.
directly, and we can get back to you.
That will work because I will send you a very long, drawn-out email. That's my style. So
More information,
yes,
never a
yes.
bad thing. All right, I think we might be good.
All
Um,
right.
so, Dr. Kuehl, thank you so much. Really appreciate it once again. Um, yeah, and we hope to see you again soon.
Very good. Talk later and send me questions. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.